Welcome to MBA Mental Boost. This is your coach, Dr. Rosie. Today we are talking about how to create a positivity bubble. Now I'm laughing because this is really a visual that I personally have used for years. And when I started to share it with clients, they were like, hey, that stuff really works. I'm like, oh yeah. So I wanted to share it with you. So this came about for me a long time ago when I think I started to notice how much work I was doing on myself, working on my self-talk, creating a positive environment where I could perform at my best. So doing all the things, working on myself, creating this space and mind where I could be at my best. Now, I would have all these intentions. I'd set up my day just exactly how I needed it to be so I could thrive. And then something would come along that would derail me. So maybe it would be a negative comment from a friend or a family member, or something I read on social media, or maybe, just being there for a friend or someone who was going through some drama in their life where they needed an ear, they needed some support. What I was noticing was, as an empath, it didn't matter how much I'd set my day up for me to be in that kind of positive mood, positive energy. If something came along that would be kind of negative energy coming from someone else, I would take all that on, and I then find that it would just completely derail me. Now, the thing is, I don't even know where this came from. It just became like a natural thing within me when I started noticing that, okay, you're an empath, you're taking on other people's negative emotions, negative energy, and that's then kind of being reflected back out, I guess, because I was feeling what they were feeling, and then I'm sort of projecting that back out, which doesn't help anyone. I suddenly had the image in my mind of being in a Zorb. Now, do you know what I mean? It's like that big, like plastic bubble. You can kind of roll around. You can use it on the water. You can roll down hills and things. One day I had this image in my mind that I was in my Zorb and everyone around me could do or say whatever they wanted, and I could listen. I can see in my Zorb, I can hear in my Zorb. But the thing that shifted was what I did with that outside energy, what I did with those words that other people were saying. Because, generally it wouldn't be like no one was attacking me. It wasn't aimed at me necessarily. It might just be people going through their own things, and maybe they just wanted to offload this, which is totally fine. But I then got to decide, let's go with the positivity Zorb, positivity bubble. I then got to decide what I let penetrate into that bubble. So I could listen to them, I could be there, but I would then decide that I'm going to let this stuff come in, because actually this supports, this creates the nice environment in my Zorb, my bubble. But I'm going to let this stuff deflect. That's going to bounce out. It's not going to touch me. I've listened to it. I've been there for that person. Or I've heard this stuff. I've consumed this information that I've read in the news or whatever it is. It literally could be different sources. But I'm now going to decide that, that doesn't serve the energy that I'm in. This isn't constructive to me right now, and therefore I'm not going to let that come into my bubble. I'm just going to let it bounce off, float away, however you want to visualize it. And honestly, that was a game changer for me, and I use it all the time. Even when my kids are having tantrums, I'm there, I'm in my little positivity bubble, and I'm sort of trying to deflect all this stuff. But it's been helping clients, because what about coaches shouting and screaming at you? Well, that's totally on him. It's not our job to change people, but you get to decide that, okay, I'm going to take the underlying message. This is what he's conveying to me. This is the message. but I'm going to decide that I'm not going to let that negative energy into my bubble, because actually that doesn't support me to perform at my best. But I'm going to take on board that message. You know, I'm in there, I'm listening, I can see everything that's happening. I'm not going to let the tone permeate my bubble, but I'm going to let the message come in. And that, you know, I think I just mentioned it to a client as a kind of offhand, like, oh, this is something that I do. And then he was like, that was a game changer, because he started to visualize that as well. And then now I've spoken about it with more and more clients, and they're like, yeah, that stuff really works. And if you're a visual person like me, it's just so simple to visualize. You know, you don't have to practice this stuff. Just as and when there's kind of negativity, negative energy, or anything that you just don't want in your personal space, it's like this is all up in your grill. You know, this is way too close and personal. You just need to kind of push back a little bit, like I'm going to take a step back. When something like that comes up, it's like, okay, mentally, I'm in my zorb, you know, physically I'm here, I'm in the room, I'm listening to you, I'm here. You can offload, you know, let people around you do whatever they want. It's not your control. You can't control what other people do. You can't control external environment. But what you can control is how you react to it, how you respond to it. And that visual of being in your zorb, being in your bubble, deciding what you let come into that bubble, because that is yours, that's completely your space. That honestly is a game changer. So go try it, like try it out this week. And as always, let me know how you found it. I would love to know if this resonates for you, if this is something that you've tried and it's worked, or if you have another visual that works for you. Do reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of MBA Mental Boost, the secret weapon to supercharging your performance on the court. If you found today's episode useful, don't forget to subscribe and share. You can connect with me over on any social platform. You can find me at Dr Rosie Mead. Until next time, go out there and dominate using the power of your mind. This is Dr Rosie, signing off.